For this video, we're going to take a look at the vehicles dataset from the US government. Let's go ahead and load this into a data frame, and we're going to take a look at the cylinders column here in a second, which you'll see should really be a whole number, but because there's some missing values, it actually comes through as a floating point. Okay, so to fix this, we can actually use the extension type system by calling convert dtypes on our data frame. And if we look at that column again, we will now see that it has all whole numbers and a true missing value. Now, we could have also done this with the dtype backend argument to read CSV or almost any IO function. You'll see if you do that instead of convert dtypes, you still get the same result, whole numbers with a real missing value indicator. But that's not all. Actually, this can be really important when it comes to how you choose to handle missing values with different data types. And to illustrate that, what we're going to do is select just a few columns here, our years, cylinders, make, model, and the city and highway mileage, just to give us a smaller data set. And I'm also going to filter in on just a few rows that I found had missing values so we can kind of see these impacts. Now let's take a look at what happens when we try and create a mask to find things with more than 4 cylinders. We actually get false values back where we had missing values in our original data set. This is helpful when filtering, but if you invert that filter, you actually end up with kind of a weird case of the missing values. So if we change this to the extension type system and we kind of try to go through that same process, we don't have that inversion issue. And actually, you'll see in the mask that we get missing values back where we start with missing values. So it prevents us from kind of losing that information, which can be really important to have and maintain and prevent mistakes with filtering and inverting the mask. Now, it's still kind of a flaw with the default pandas type system, kind of the last thing to drive home here, is that the way the missing values are handled is not consistent across data types. So we just looked at an example of missing data with numeric values, but let's look at a different field like the drive that you can see as a missing value indicator here. This contains really string information. So once again, we're going to kind of filter down our data set to a smaller set of columns and rows that I know have missing values, just to drive this home. You see here, again, there's a few missing values in the drive column. Let's create our mask and do it by checking for things that have the text2 wheel in them. Now, in the last value, we had false come back for missing values. Now we have NaN come back, and we have a dtype object mask. This cannot be used for filtering, and you see if you try to do that, you get a value error right there at the bottom. We can fix this once again with the extension type system by not really doing much except for using the extension type. It just more sanely handles these missing values. So you see we'll create that mask the same way with our drive column, looking for anything with the text2 wheel. Now we have a Boolean series back with actual missing values. This just works much more naturally when you actually try and perform any kind of filtering.